know when you're ready, George, and we can start the broadcast.
Okay, do we have all the board members, right? Hello, everybody?
Yes.
You can hear me there, Juan, right?
Okay. So yeah, we're just getting ready the YouTube live stream. As soon as we do that, then I'll broadcast and we can get started.
Okay, sounds good. I didn't have time to make a Starbucks run this time.
Well, I'm glad we started the closed session at 5:30. Nice.
Yeah, that was a long one. Yep. We're almost at 7:40. I'm recording the convention today. Not that I'm going to see all of it. I see bits and parts. That's what you can do in a recording, so that's a good thing about it.
I think we're live now, George.
Oh, okay, very good. Are we live, Juan? Are we ready?
Yeah.
Oh. Melania is okay. Then Melania is about to give
For speech?
yeah, her speech. She's in a classroom.
We're just confirming that the live feed is going to be ready so that we can start.
You can start right now.
I'm waiting for Summer to give me the green light.
She's giving Jill Biden's speech.
All right, we're ready, George.
Okay. Well, welcome everybody. Welcome to our open session of our board meeting. And I apologize, the closed session took a little bit longer than we expected. So let's go ahead and get going. As always, we start with our flag salute, item 3.01, and let's have board member Rudy Rodriguez lead us in the flag salute. Rudy, can you lead us in the flag salute? We have a flag over here. One has a flag.
Sure. Still waiting for my last certificate. Okay, so would everyone please stand?
All right.
Ready? Begin. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you, board member Rudy, for that. Very well done. Okay, let's go on to item 3.02 to approve, disapprove additions to the agenda. So you have anything to approve or disapprove? And not, let's go to item 3.03 to approve, disapprove order of the agenda. And if not, we are going to item number 4. Oh, I take it back. Let me go back to 3.04. Let's go ahead and go to the superintendent for report of action taken in closed session. Superintendent.
Yes, the board unanimously approved, 4 in favor and 1 abstention, the closed session minutes of August 11th, 2020. There are no other actions to report.
All right, thank you, Superintendent. Now we go on to item number 4, which deals with oral communications. And members of the public may address the board on any issue within the subject matter jurisdiction of the board or agenda items. Members of the public may also address the board on consent items before the board's consideration of the items. In accordance with board bylaw 9323, individual remarks will be limited to 3 minutes each unless otherwise stipulated. No action can be taken on any agenda item at this time. Questions may be referred to the administration or put on a future agenda. So with that, we go on to item 4.01, oral communications. Do we have people waiting out there, Superintendent?
No, we don't. We have
No
not
one?
received any request for public comment.
Okay, all right, so let's go on to number 5. Okay, let's go to the consent items under $25,000. And again, the public can address us on these consent items before we consider these items. And again, individual remarks will be limited to 3 minutes each. So Superintendent, do we have anybody that wants to address us on these items?
No.
Okay. All right, so I'll need a board member to make a motion or pull the item if they want to discuss it further. Board members?
Move to approve items 5.01 and 5.02.
Second.
Okay, so we have a motion and a second to approve items 5.01 and 5.02. So I will do a roll call on these items. So let's go ahead and go with board member Rudy Rodriguez.
Yes.
Okay. Board member Kerry Rosado.
Aye.
Board member Ton Tron.
Aye.
And then board member Maimona Absalberta.
Aye.
Okay, so that's unanimous. And now we go on to item number 6, which are consent items over $25,000. And again, the public can address us on these items, and their remarks will be limited to 3 minutes unless otherwise stipulated. And so we do have 7 items here under consent items over $25,000. So
Just a
board member,
quick
take a look
point
at-
of order,
yes,
Board President. I believe you needed to vote on the last item.
okay. Which
Yeah,
was,
There was a motion and a second, but there was no vote.
oh,
There were votes, but
Yeah.
I just think,
oh, I'm sorry, I didn't vote.
yes,
Okay,
that's what I
sorry.
meant.
And board member Georgia Sanchez moves also to approve that. So that's unanimous. Thank you. Appreciate that. I was forgetting myself. All right. So now we go to consent items. And again, we do have 7 items. So take a look at those, board members. If you want to pull any of those, let me know. If not, I'll need a motion and a second on those 7 items.
Move to approve consent items 6.01 through 6.07.
Second.
Okay, we have a motion, a second to approve items 6.01 through 6.07. And again, I'll do a roll call. I should go first, right? All right. Board member Maimona,
Aye.
board member Tan.
Aye.
Board member Rudy,
Yes. Aye.
and board member Carey,
Aye.
and board member George. Yes, and I vote aye too. So that does pass unanimously. Item number 6. Thank you. All right, let's go on to item number 7 on our agenda. Action items. We will go to 7.01, which deals with personnel report. So I'll ask our Vice President, Maimona, to go ahead and go over that with us.
Thank you,
Maimona.
President Sanchez.
And not listed as attendees.
I move that the personnel report be approved and submitted, and that A, the employment for the following employees be approved. Helen McGinnis, teacher at Los Arbales, effective August 11th, 2020. Lucy Morgan, teacher at Silverdale, effective August 11th, 2020. B, the resignation for the following employees be approved. Kendall Bellardo, paraeducator, SDC Bridges, effective August 31st, 2020. Yalitza Pena, Director of Community Relations, effective August 31st, 2020.
Second.
Okay, so we have a first and second on item 7.01, our personnel report. And again, we'll do a roll call on this. So I'll start with board member Maimona.
Aye.
Okay, board member Tan. Board member Rudy,
Yes.
and board member Carey,
Aye.
and then board member George, and I vote aye too. So that passes unanimously, the personnel report. Okay, so now we go to item 7.02, our August 11th, 2020 board meeting minutes. If you can take a look at those minutes, and I'll need a motion, a second on those minutes.
Move to approve August 11th board meeting minutes.
Second.
Okay, we have a motion, a second to approve item 7.02, and we'll do a roll call. Maimona,
Aye.
Tan,
Abstain.
and Rudy,
Aye. Yes.
and then Carrie,
Aye.
and then George, and I vote aye too on that. So that passes 4-0, 4 voting for, and then 1 abstention on item 7.02. Okay, so let's go on to item 7.03, which deals with reporting on delegating authority to take necessary action to protect students and staff from the spread of coronavirus, COVID-19. So we'll turn that over to the superintendent to give us a report on that. Superintendent.
Yes, thank you. I'll keep it brief. I just wanted to report out to the board that we obviously started school last week. And we've been working with, our staff have been working with parents and making sure that they have devices and that we have hotspots for them to engage in distance learning. What we've asked staff is to take attendance right now simply on those students that they're connecting with via Zoom or via other means, so that we know that at least, that they're here, that they're ready to engage in distance learning. And then from that standpoint, those that are being marked absent, that we follow up with them and find out if there's a barrier for them to engage, whether they don't have a device or hotspot. I can tell you that the attendance is very good. We have, for the most part, at all our campuses, over 90% attendance daily.
Excellent.
Which is a good sign that our students are connecting with our staff. We will have more information to you in the next board meeting when Dr. Martinez-Palmer presents the plan that is due. We have to have a public hearing the next board meeting, and then subsequent approval at the following September meeting for a submittal to the County Office of Education before the end of the month. And that's for us to outline the plan that we have for students and how we're supporting them through distance learning, and then also how we're tracking attendance and participation. The state on Friday afternoon released this document that they are suggesting we use, or at least elements of it, to track student attendance and student participation and engagement, both in synchronous and asynchronous. So we're working internally to find ways that we can do that in an easy to track format, so that our staff, our teachers are not overly burdensome in regards to doing this on paper or in other means. So all that will come to the board in the next board meeting. We are, the one area that we are finding some difficulty is in ensuring that we have enough hotspots for all our students. We did get hotspots from the city of San Jose, and we're continuing to ask for hotspots from them. Jason and Samer had a meeting with the city and asking for additional 2,000. They weren't able to fulfill that order, but we're working with them in terms of other means of connectivity that we can find. Along with that, we've ordered hotspots, and we're just waiting for those to be delivered so that we can continue to provide those for families. We are going to be referring students that are having trouble with connectivity that are willing to come in person, both to our choral program that started yesterday, and also the city of San Jose is opening the Seven Trees Community Center for 3 classrooms for 12 students per classroom, and then 1 classroom at the Tully Library, again, for 12 students there, and those will be per our referral process. So those will be prioritized for those students that are having trouble connecting at home, so that they can come into our buildings and the city buildings where connectivity may not be as challenging. And we will continue to update the board in terms of the number of students that we've issued devices and hotspots as we move through the next couple of weeks. Any questions that the board may have?
Board members, questions of the superintendent, go ahead and ask at this time, please.
How is distance learning going for the special ed students?
Sure. We haven't separated in terms of, how it's going for everybody, but I can tell you that, while it's a challenge to open up in distance learning, what I'm hearing is that there's a lot of good things happening out throughout the district, and it's going as smoothly as it can. We will be through this new engagement and participation, we'll be able to now quantify what that looks like on a weekly basis for all students, because the requirement is that if a student is not engaged for at least 60%, we have to then trigger follow-ups with those students. And that's whether they're, completing the work independent or if they're only doing synchronous over the course of the week. We have to ensure that we have at least 60% of their participation and engagement. And if not, then we have to put some interventions and some follow-up with each family for each student. So at that point, by a weekly basis, we'll be able to find out how engagement is going throughout the district for all students. Right now, our biggest thing was get them connected, take attendance based on that so that we can run reports. If a student is marked absent, then there's a problem there and we have to address it right away.
Other questions, board members?
Yeah, I did have one. I just thought of one. How are the charter schools doing? Do you know in our district how they're doing?
We know that they started distance learning as well as we did. We have asked whether they were going to submit for a waiver, and the only one that said that they were looking at that was Rocket Ship. The county has been slow in reviewing those and approving those. I think there's only one district currently in the county that has been, their waiver has been approved for in-person if they choose to, but none of them have started in-person throughout the county. Is there anything else that you would like to add, Dr. Martinez-Palmer?
No, just we've requested their distance learning plans, and they will also be required to submit their LCP, the Learning Continuity Attendance Plan. But they're doing similar to what we're doing.
I had a question in terms of I know we were going to get some parent workshops going. I know it's early on, but that's still being planned, right? In terms of how they can help their children at home and so on. We're still planning that.
Correct. That information went out a couple of weeks ago to families for them to sign up for the 3 levels of training. The first one, which will be in person, which is just the basics of how you turn on the computer and those kinds of things. Mm-hmm. The other 2 are for those that have a little bit more, tech skills. The next one is about our platforms, how to navigate Seesaw, Google Classroom, depending on the grade level. Those kinds of, how do you go into Lexia? So those are that second level. And then the third one is simply about how can you provide structures and an environment at home to maximize, the student learning. So those were sent out. Parents have been signing up, and FMCI will be conducting those trainings for any parent in the district.
Did the Zoom outage affect any of our teachers?
Initially in the morning, we were getting that, but it got resolved fairly quickly here. We didn't see a huge disruption. But this is, it seems like anything that can go wrong as we start, it's going, right? So the fires, the smoke, the outages, the power outages, and this kind of stuff, it's just, our teachers are, I'll say, our staff have been, real troopers and patient and understanding, and they're really trying their best to just connect with kids, meet them where they're at, and, moving from there. So I'll commend our staff for their commitment and their patience during this very difficult time.
That was actually going to be one of my questions, Superintendent Cruz, just in terms of, I know we have our ongoing actions due to COVID-19, but due to the fires and additional, circumstances, are there, additional supports or resources that we're making available?
So we obviously wanted to make sure that our staff knew to access the EAP for those that need it, but I will be connecting with FMEA and CSEA later this week to assess, what's the impact on our staff. I've heard as of today that 2 of our staff members have lost their homes through the fires. And so what I wanted to work with them is a way for us to potentially have a GoFundMe page that maybe they can manage, because it's hard. We can't do it as a district. And so ways that we can support those that have lost their homes and also support those that are currently being evacuated and that may not be able to return quickly. So I will be reaching out to both associations for us to get together. I also understand CSEA has within their own organization a catastrophic fund that members can access. So we want to make sure that that information is available to all within the district.
Yeah, I believe CTA also has a similar grant process.
Okay.
But yeah, I think it would be, it's just, especially since a lot of our staff are doing, teaching from home or perhaps going in to teach from their classrooms. I think the more resources we can provide to, make it as accessible or easy for everyone as we can during these challenging times.
Yeah.
Thank you.
No, I'll say that I've driven by some of our schools in the last couple of days, and there's quite a number of cars in our parking lots, which leads me to believe that there's a great number of our teachers that are coming in to teach in their classroom. But again, the part of this is just trying to find ways that we can support those that have been displaced from home above and beyond what they're doing in terms of still trying to teach our students.
Any other questions, board members? Well, the 90% attendance rate is very impressive, and that's great. And then later on, it goes. You'll give us a report in terms of where we're at with the numbers. How many kids do we have all together throughout our schools?
Right. We just did the no-shows late last week, and so we will now start looking at our numbers. I can tell you that we are trying to balance classes and also find ways that we can fill some of the open positions. So that will help our budget, obviously not having to hire FTEs for some of those open positions because we have the ability to move staff that have under-enrolled classes. And so that's what we're working through right now with Annette and the principals and trying to, make these as least impactful, right? The moving staff, moving students is never easy, and but trying to do it in a way that is the least impactful for everybody, and meeting the needs of kids for the rest of the year rather than having some, rotating through these classes.
Okay, real good. That was my last question. Anything else, board members? If not, did we make this a no action item?
It's just an information.
Okay, information on this one. Okay.
So, board president, it looks like we do have two late requests to, or
Public comment.
looks like at least one is requesting to speak on public comment. So if we could maybe go back to that and allow
That's fine.
who would like to address the board.
Yeah, let's go back to item 4.01, oral communication. So let's have that individual introduce themselves and talk to us at this time. Thank you.
Hi, good evening, board. This is Dario Lamelli. Sorry, I tried to get on and I couldn't get on, but it's I thank you for having patience and letting me on. I wanted to be able to speak a little bit about on the first couple of weeks. Oh, by the way, you guys look great. I actually missed you guys, believe it or not.
We miss all of you.
But I wanted to speak about a couple of things. One is that I am super proud of like the work that the whole district is doing. The 90%, it's awesome. I think it just it echoes a lot of what we are all going through, and to have kids and to have parents and everybody on board to be able to get this new reality in 2020, 21. It's amazing, and it also speaks to the hard work in the summer, and I'm super proud to be part of it. Obviously, I can't say enough of what we, as a district, have been able to go through as far as ups and downs, and so I know that we are all trying to do the best that we can, and the social, the emotional part of it, I'm starting to see a little bit of that, where people's mental state of being is actually a little bit not critical yet, but it's showing. And so I think the leadership, cabinet, how you guys are holding it up, and the way that you guys are actually understanding of folks. And so I do want to say kudos to IT department. I know I'm part of IT, but that's in the reprographics area. But IT has been, doing a fabulous job, and I know that some people have noticed that, and I just wanted to be able to say that at some point we may want to look at rehiring a couple of our IT guys because of where we're at. And I know we have a sub now, and so I kind of wanted to just kind of throw that out there as something to think about here in the near future, that this is where we're at, and this is where we're going to be moving forward. And I think IT is super important. And thanks again for all you guys and your patience and what you guys do. And thanks for letting me speak.
Well, thank you, Dario, for those comments. And that's the only person we had speak to us, Juan? You meant nobody else?
Somebody had submitted, but it's NA, so we can't seem to, unless they ask for a particular agenda item, we cannot verify that.
Okay, all righty. Okay. Well, let's go on down to item 7.04. Item 7.04, resolution number 2020-49, the board compensation for a missed meeting. Item 7.04. So I'll need a motion and a second on this item.
Move to approve item 7.04.
Second.
Okay, so we have a motion and a second to approve item 7.04, and we'll do a roll call. Board member Maimona.
Aye.
Okay, board member Tan. Oh,
Abstain.
abstain. Board member Rudy.
Yes.
Board member Carrie.
Aye.
And board member George, and I vote aye too. So that motion carries 4-0. Okay, very good. Now we go on to item number 8, communications from the superintendent. Superintendent.
Yes, I mean, I already sort of gave a little bit of a,
Yes.
in the other agenda item. I'll just say that, our choral program started yesterday. It's so far it's running smooth, and there were some families that didn't show up on first day, so they're following up to make sure that they still want the spot. If not, so we can go to our wait list. We do have a wait list. So we want to make sure that every student, that every spot that we have, and there's a student for that gets filled. We are very appreciative of Choral and Catholic Charities for them to taking this on. And certainly want to thank Jason and his team, Gabriel, and I think it was even bus drivers. I mean, everybody's pitched in to try and get the classrooms ready, and so that we're compliant with public health and social distancing and all that. So looking forward to that being successful. And we'll report back to you in terms of the number of students that we're serving through that program in the city program as well. We're starting to have back to school nights virtual. So I've asked the principals to send me that information. I will share that with you. So if you have time and want to pop into one of those, you'll have the link for that. And we're looking forward to doing the kinds of things we normally do, if we can, virtually, and then if not, being creative of other ways that we can support families and students to try and make this year as normal as we can possibly make it, right? Because there's nothing normal about what we're going through, but trying to at least get into the sense that we're in school, and we want schools to do what they can to build that school community, even though they're at home, will be important. And that's it.
All right, thank you, Superintendent. Let's go on to item number 9, the communication from the Board of Education. So we go on to item 9.01, agenda item request. So board members, do we have any agenda item requests at this time?
At one point, wasn't it said that this year there's a requirement for tracking any, I guess, loss of learning, yes, due to COVID. I know that's a new thing. How is the district going to handle that? So maybe more information on how that's going to be done.
That's coming in through the LCP that Dr. Martinez-Palmer was mentioning. That'll be part of that plan.
Okay, perfect.
Okay, anybody else? If not, let's go on to item 9.02, board member report. So I'll start with Carrie on that. Carrie.
No report.
Okay. Rudy.
No report.
Tom.
No report.
Maimona.
I'll make it quick. I just forgot to mention that I had attended a ethnic studies workshop on implementing and just going through adoption process, and I was convening based through the Santa Clara County Office of Education. And it was really informative, had a lot of good discussion and a lot of resources that were shared. So, and I believe a few staff from Franklin-McKinley as well. So that was great to see, and just sending good vibes to everyone, because this has been a rough start to the school year, and I'm just even more appreciative for all the work that everyone's doing. So thank you.
All right, thank you, Maimona. For myself, I really had no reports, but I did want to follow up real quick on Dario's comments earlier today in terms of IT, where we're at. So we know how critical that department has always been, but now even more so with what we're facing with distance learning and the hot spots and everything else, and make sure that we're 100% out there, So I think we have to take a look at IT, and I would like a report back on in terms of where we're at. What are still the needs? Where are the holes with IT in terms of making sure that we are addressing all the needs for our kids and our staff out there. So can we do that, Superintendent, maybe in the next meeting?
I don't know about the next meeting, but I know that we still have pending our technology plan. So if it's okay with you, if we could build that in within that we're still having to do.
Okay, all right. Okay, and so that would be coming back in the next month or so. Yeah, I mean, next meeting next month. Yeah. Okay, so that's all I was going to ask right now. So let's go on to number 10, future business, and number 11, future meeting dates. And so again, we'll be back on remote on September 8th at 7 p.m. and then a closed session at 5:30, I believe. And 11.2, September 22nd. And again, the same thing, remote board meeting at those times, So with that, let's go on to item number. Oh, I'm sorry. One more meeting, 11.01. We jumped all the way up to October 27th. Is that correct?
Yeah, we only have one meeting in October due to the fall break.
That's correct. Okay, so we jump to that, and then with that we closed session. We don't have closed session, so we go to number 13, which deals with adjournment.
Move to adjourn.
Okay.
Second.
Okay, so a motion, a second for adjournment. A real quick roll call. Maimona.
Aye.
Ton.
Aye.
Rudy.
Yeah. Yes.
Carrie.
Aye.
And George. And so I vote aye too. So that passes unanimously. And so we are adjourned at this time. It's about 8:12. Not too bad. So have a good couple of weeks off, everybody. And we'll and so that is the end of our meeting for this evening.